Hey guys, in my See Something, Say Something fitness video today, I am going to talk about how to train athletes properly in a rotational manner. So most athletes out there rotate in their sports, okay? And in my experience training athletes, whether it be at the professional level, college level, high school, junior high school, is that the best athletes and the ones that can create the best force and have the least amount of injuries, especially in the lower back and actually in the rotator cuff, are the ones that can generate force very, very well through their hips and their torso. Okay? One common mistake I see, and I'm going to start with this, is I see when people are training rotationally. So a side med ball throw is something trainers use a lot to train athletes to get proper body mechanics when they're rotating. Okay? One common mistake I see though is when people go to generate force, all right, they're going to throw that ball sideways, right? They're going to throw that ball, they're whipping back with their hip. What they tend to do is they stop here, okay? They don't turn their back foot and they don't follow through the whole motion, okay? When we keep our foot flat and we turn our hip, that actually is not good for the knee at all, okay? You're gonna grind that knee. We want that foot, that knee, that ankle, that hip, everything should turn with each other. So when we end up throwing the ball sideways towards the wall, we want our hips to finish square to the wall. So our toe is square, our back toe is square, our back knee is square, our back hip is square, and our shoulders are square. And then we're going to generate force again, and we're going to boom, right through, okay? So you're generating force through the hip, through the torso, through the ankle, through the knee, okay? Here, boom, here, boom, here, boom, okay? Now watch, when I keep my foot flat, does that sound as forceful? Not really. If I generate force and I turn that back foot and I drive my back hip towards the wall, that sounds a lot more forceful, right? Okay, so again, you don't want to, what I see a lot of times when I first start doing this drill with people is I say, okay, we need to turn our back hip, okay? And what people start to do is they turn their back hip, but they just get into that habit of just turning, okay? But you really want to place in their mind that you're trying to generate force through the back hip, not just twist it. Okay, so what you really want to think is about driving that back hip towards the wall. So generating force, not just turning it, but boom, driving it into the wall. Driving it into the wall, okay? So again, if you look at, let's say, or case in point, some pretty obvious rotational athletes, okay? So pitchers, okay? Pitchers, whether it be baseball, softball, hockey, when you go to wind up and shoot a goal, quarterbacks in football, all right? When the best quarterbacks, the best pitchers, okay, the best shooters, all right, in hockey, right, are the ones that can generate the most force through their torsos and their hips, okay? And also, the ones that have the less, when we're talking especially about pitchers, if we can get them to think, when they wind up to pitch, right, they want to follow through, right, with that back hip and obviously turn, like I was saying, turn that back knee, turn that back ankle, right, turn that back toe. But if you think in your head as an athlete that is where most of your force should be coming from, not from your shoulder, okay? So if you get really, really good and you train an athlete to get really, really good at generating force through their hips and their torso, they're actually going to put less stress on their rotator cuff. They're going to put less stress on their arm, on their shoulder when they go to throw that ball. Okay, quarterback, right? He's throwing that ball. If he can generate force through here, it's going to be less stress up here. Same thing with the pitcher, especially a softball thrower, right? I mean, even though they're starting in a rotational way, they're not starting straight on, right? So they're winding up, and they got to finish. If they can start, they're here. They're going to rotate forward and square up to finish that pitch. So if they can generate force, boom, through that back hip, through that torso, they're going to have less stress up here. They're thinking, that's where my force comes. That's where my pitch is going to come from. And less from here, from their arm. They don't have to rely on their arm and their shoulder to whip around so much. they're gonna think here is where I wanna whip, right? I'm winding up, I'm finishing, and I'm boom, okay? Same thing with the hockey player, any rotational athlete, but a hockey player, right? They're coming in, they're gonna wind up, and they're gonna finish that shot, right? If they can get it from here, right? And less from here in their arm, they're gonna be a better athlete. They're gonna have a stronger shot, okay? So I hope this helps. Talk to you soon.